What's up guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I wanted to give you guys a handful of tips that can help you shoot better portraits on 35mm film. I would definitely say that a lot of these tips depend fully on what kind of film camera that you have. I have a Canon EOS 630. Most of it is electronic. It is basically a DSLR, but a film camera, so an SLR. And it has very similar settings to most modern Canon digital cameras. There's AV mode, TV mode, P program auto mode, there's fully manual mode. It basically almost has all the same settings as a regular camera. And that's why this camera was so easy for me to transition to start my journey in film a couple years back. If you have an all manual film camera, it's going to be a little bit trickier for you to dial it in. Either way, just remember when you're shooting film, you don't get instant results or instant feedback, so it's very important to try to nail it in camera. So for step one, it's choosing the right film stock. I would say it's definitely important to consider the lighting conditions and the mood you want to convey with your photo shoot before you pick your film stock. When I first started shooting portraits on film, I experimented a lot with Cinestill 800T, Ektar 100, Portra 800, and Portra 400. But I would say it's definitely important to experiment with different film stocks because each are different and each will give you different results. So in this video specifically, I went with Kodak Portra 400. And the reason why I chose Portra 400 because the skin tones often come out accurate, the grain is very fine, and the colors that you get out of the film stock are very vibrant and very accurate. There's so many different film stocks, so make sure you just do your research and find one that you like. Step two is choosing a good location. Your background definitely sets the stage for your portrait session, so look for spots that help complement your subject. Pay attention to the colors, the textures, and the lighting in the location that you choose, because these elements can help make or break your portrait session. In this specific video, the reason why I chose this location is because there's beautiful flowers in the background, the light was very soft and subtle, and I thought it would be a great place to start shooting some portraits there, and eventually work our way down the alleyway that we were in to try to find something different. Go stand right there where the light is hitting. Yeah, just right, no, look right here. Yeah, right there, right there. Act like you're going up the step, looking over at me. Yeah, just those steps right there. 3, 2, 1. Fire, okay, let's go. So step three is choosing the right settings. Unlike digital cameras, film cameras need a little bit more manual control. So if your camera doesn't do it for you already, then I would start off by setting your ISO to match the film speed that you chose. So Kodak Portra 400 is gonna be at 400 ISO. Kodak Portra 800 will be shot at 800 ISO. So then adjust your aperture and your shutter speed based off of the lighting conditions that you want. So the higher number, f8, f10, f11, f12, etc. will be more in focus. If you're shooting at 1.4, you're gonna get a really blurry background, and that creates a lot of separation. I often shoot my photos anywhere between 2.8 and 5.6. So step four, I would say, is using your light to your advantage. Light is one of the most important elements in photography. By definition, photography literally means drawing with light. It's important to always observe how the light falls on your subject, especially their face or whatever part of the subject you're shooting. Always remember to adjust your subject's position or your angle to get the best results. So if I can recommend something to you, it is that to spend enough time learning lighting as much as you're learning about photography. They do go hand in hand, but the sooner that you can get lighting down, the faster that you'll be able to get really nice photos. For portraits, soft, natural light is usually the most flattering. Another favorite time of mine to shoot is golden hour, which is the hour after sunrise or the hour before sunset. Golden hour usually provides a warm and beautiful glow. If you're shooting in harsh midday sun, it's very important to find shadows to shoot in because you don't want your subject to be standing in the direct sun because you want to try to avoid harsh shadows, and you also want to avoid overexposing your image, especially if you're shooting on digital. Because if you didn't know already, when you're shooting on a digital camera and you overexpose and the highlights are gone, meaning they're just white, they've lost all their information, it is almost impossible to bring them back. Whereas film, if you overexpose your image, the highlight definition will still be there. I know I'm talking about film in this video, but if you're shooting digital, just remember that it's better to underexpose your images digitally than overexpose them. Step five is unique posing. Posing is an art of itself. Encourage your subject to relax and try a variety of poses. Pay attention to their posture, their expression, and how they interact with the environment. Don't be afraid to try weird angles and weird compositions. I find that most of the time when I'm on my photo shoots, I'm either tilting the camera sideways or I'm getting low to get a shot of them looking taller or getting a shot from above, making them look smaller. There's so many ways to manipulate your subject based off of your photography and your angles, so make sure you're experimenting and finding what you like. It's also really good to work with somebody who has experience modeling because they know how their body looks the best and how their face looks the best. And if you're getting experimental with with your photography and they're experimenting with their poses, then you're bound to get something really cool. Step 6 is enhancing the 35mm scan with your editing software. While you want to try to maintain the natural look of the film stock, a little bit of tweaking can go a long way. Sometimes when you get the film scans back, they don't turn out exactly how you want. That could be a user error, or that could be a scanning error. There are a lot of things that can happen in the process. It's important that when you get the scans, you want to make them look like how you want your body of work to look. A lot of film photographers want to keep it as original as possible, and I understand that, but also in my experiences, if I'm going to spend the money shooting it and developing it, I definitely want to make sure that it fits in my body of work, but I'm also going to tweak it to my advantage, which is something that I believe you should do too. Because shooting film, especially nowadays, is an investment. It does cost a lot, but the results are almost unbeatable. It's so hard to recreate film digitally, in my opinion, especially after shooting medium format and 35mm now. So definitely make sure you're getting your scans to look how you want them to look. I always aim to keep the film's character intact while just making subtle improvements. There's 6 essential tips right there for you guys to help you shoot better portraits on film. And just remember that practice makes perfect, so keep shooting and experimenting. My first couple rolls of film are definitely not what I'm shooting nowadays, and that's just because time. You have to remember to get your reps in, so that's why it's important to go out and shoot every single day, get your friends together, go out and create some portraits, create some photo shoots, and just create really cool concepts with people that you're comfortable with, and then the rest of it just becomes a lot easier. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more film photography tips, or just photography tips in general, and let me know in the comments what topics you'd like for me to cover next. Until then, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.